Testing, testing, testing. If you can hear me, please say so in the chat real quick. How's my volume? What's this? Ah, you're watching it in the chat box here. Okay, that's cool. That's good. Volume's good. Okay. So let's go to the live stream. Welcome to the stream where I talk about how End of Days is going with their AI development. And got a special guest here. Welcome, Mr. Squarepeg. And for those of you who don't know, End of Days is a VR zombie survival game. At the moment, I am using a lot of stock assets so I can do a lot of the background code work, and then I'll be doing a lot more visual tweaks other than the map and stuff. I did a lot of work on the atmosphere. I was quite proud of that. So going to go ahead and switch some screens around real quick. Alright, I'm gonna switch here to my center monitor whenever here we go. Alright, so this is the Facility in the Woods map for End of Days. And normally I've been showing it off just unlit like this so you can see things better because the lighting is quite dark, but for the time being I'll leave it right here. So I would say at the moment this is technically broken because zombies don't crawl through the windows the way I'm going to set it up, but this is the situation we have. So you start out, you are going to be in this room. This door is going to be closed and the zombies will not know where you are because they can't find a navigatable point to you. But these windows here will have information if you are in the building or not. You can see down here I have set up some variables for has player, lost player, and then when I have slots to catch the zombies so that they can tear down the boards, it'll say whether or not the slots are full. So we're gonna run a simulation here. I do not have a player on the map, and by default zombies will wander when they do not have a place to go. So go off into the woods here. See, here's a zombie. He's just wandering, got nowhere to go. Just finds a random navigatable point from where he is. But I'm gonna go grab all these windows out here. I'm gonna say they all have a line of sight to the player. And this supports a multiplayer environment. So there's one here, there's one right here, and then there's one right here. All windows will have this when I get around to it. But now all the zombies, they go, oh, I know where the player is, so I'm gonna go over there. So they're all going to the windows now, right? This is an overridable behavior if they actually see the player away, or if, because assuming all the windows are closed right now, they wouldn't know where the player is in the navigatable space. So let's throw them outside. So this is something all the zombies, or all the players have attached to them, and this is target, so all the zombies know where to run. So all the zombies abandon all their windows because they go, oh, I have access to a player. Alright, and if I go ahead and delete that, they default back to any available windows. Now I can take all these windows. I'm going to say that this one lost sight of the player, and zombies are going to abandon it. Yeah, once I click it. Ha. Yep, lost sight of the player. They're not interested anymore, but there are two other windows that have a line of sight to the player. I'm going to say that there's only one zombie there, so it doesn't really help me visual purposes. I'm going to say that, okay, too many zombies are at this window now. Can't have all of you trying to tear down a board, so it's going to go, slots are full. Alright, now this would have caught 2 or 3 zombies and they would have stayed here to tear down the boards, but now they all go to the next available window, which is this one because it's still saying that it has access to the player. Sorry, this one because it still has access to the player, but by now probably the slots are full or they've crawled through. Now they have access to no player and no windows, and they just go back to randomly wandering within the navigatable radius. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up waypoints around here, so if they had seen the player, they run towards the player. If they lose sight of the player and they don't know where he is, they go to the last place they saw him, they wander there, and if they still don't see him, they go to one of the waypoints, and then from that waypoint they wander around to either another waypoint or to just a random spot. And this is all done through behavior trees. I'm gonna bring up my other monitor here. So behavior trees. I have a list of values in a blackboard. Keeps access of all this information. It's kind of like a sticky note to hold info for when you don't really have a place to put it. And then my behavior tree. This is how it makes all these decisions. It kind of flows down, and based on a variable, if it fits the criteria, it'll go to where it needs to go. So, for example, see the behavior trees up on the screen here. I'm going to take a player, a target, and I'm going to just drop it somewhere, anywhere. And then, boom, that's the decision. They go there. I already have it set up to move to the last known location. I just need to grab that info. So this is like a little bit of a balancing act between how often you should iterate, because this is really crucial on performance. It's weird because like my AI was much simpler before, but after going in and doing this and having a lot more, they're actually more performant than they were before. So yeah. Any questions? Anything you want to see? Anything you want to know? Should probably move this over here. That's a lot better. Aha! One of the zombies caught on fire. So this is where the player currently is. AI target. No more. Go back to doing your own thing. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna activate this window down here. Has player, so they're all gonna go over here, but I'm gonna activate this. Oh, that's right. I have this game mode set up for points right now. This isn't the sandbox for testing, so I have no points. Can I edit that value real quick? I really want to set these turrets and just kill these things. Actually, can I just do this? Yeah. Love testing variables, they're great. I wonder if this can actually see it being right below it. Well, let's find out. We're going to yank one of them. You're over here now. Nice. Alright, so I guess I can't see right below it. That's not a good sign. So I should probably put this somewhere else at some point. Probably like up here, maybe. Because over here, just kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'll put more turrets. I got lots and lots and lots of options. I'll take you through a walk through the map since you haven't been through here. This is the katana room where you can buy a katana off the wall. It's the starting room where there's pistols and ammo. In here you have a bow and arrow and arrows, and then you can have different obstacles you can buy. I love the lightning effect on these. Probably can't buy it because not enough points. Whoops. Alright. Can I unlock it? That's determined by game mode, so not without leaving. Well, if I go in here, there's an AK-47 on the wall. Over here, there's a shotgun, bunch of attachments. All the guns and gunplay in, yeah, it does remind you of COD, right? It's because this game was inspired by Call of Duty Zombies, Left 4 Dead, and Dead Rising. And some other stuff that if I said anything it would give away kind of the plot, so don't want to go into that. Aha, laser goes through the walls. That's something I should work on. But this game is based around realistic gunplay, so if I were to buy a weapon off the wall, because like I said, this is VR, you pick it up and you interact with it the way you would with a real gun. It's not just hold and press the trigger. You have to load bullets into the clips, load the clip into the gun, pull the slide back, and then you can put a scope on it, or a red dot sight, or a holographic sight, iron sights, and if you have enough rail space for it, you could have multiple attachments, so you could have a scope and a canted iron sight, so you can go from long range to short range. And yeah, there's just like a whole bunch of options. And then I get wacky with it and let you do things that you shouldn't be able to do. Like, for example, this pistol, because I liked Halo 1 so much, I let you put the scope on top of this pistol, and you can do long-range pistol shots, or you can do it on this shotgun. You know, just like a bunch of crazy things. Also got a flashlight. Oh, you saw one. Nice. Let's see if I look through. Nope, because it's not active until you. Oh no, I take that back. It's a realistic holographic sight. So if you see that, you can actually see the holo. It's great. And the scope is not on this table. It's over here. And I don't think it's active. So if I do that, no, it's probably still looking at the wall. So let's do that, and then rotate that. Nope, not active. Alright. So when you pick it up, it'll activate it. It's probably a memory thing, performance. Because actually, it's super expensive on. But I wanted the feature. So I did it. Oh yeah, and then over here, too slow. Over here, too fast. Over here, the mystery box. Aha! Just like Call of Duty Zombies. It's even got a teddy bear. So, let's see if can I open that? Open mystery box. And then you take it out, and then you add it to your inventory slots and other things. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. Lots and lots of fun stuff. And then eventually that telebox, maybe that's what I'll call it. The mystery box. After you roll a teddy bear, it'll pick one of the random spots. It'll pick a random spawn point on the map. So, like for example, there's one way out here deep in the woods, and then there's one way over here somewhere. And then this is just the map I've been using while I build out gameplay features. it's so much more intricate than it actually is right now. The long-term game. I'll show you a treat of what I'm going to be working on really soon. As soon as I get all this Windows and all that type of logic set up, this is the very next thing I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to take you to the I think I called it simple map. Whenever it wants to load. Also, first time having a camera for the stream. I haven't had one just because, like, originally I was running it off my Droid, and I was just hooking it up through a USB Type-C, and it just was not. The session will terminate your play session. Oh yeah, duh. My bad. So yeah, it was weird. It didn't work right. It was laggy. This is so much better. So we have a city. Now this is not a randomly generated city. This is just built off of a pre-existing map. So I'll probably do some modifying of this, and we'll get some gameplay going. But this is not end goal either. End goal is a huge map. Huge map. We're talking like the map will contain 4 cities, a desert. Like you go up north, there'll be like a logging town or like a mining town or whatever you want to call it, and a prison, like several lakes and stuff. A lot of other things I don't want to give away. And so like the total layout of it, thanks, the city it's made by Cinti Studios. Unfortunately, a lot of other games right now are using the same asset pack, and they are subpar, very subpar games, and I'm kind of irritated because like I put a lot of work into this, and they put like none into theirs. Also, lighting and stuff is very important to me. But yeah, long story short, we have a very large set placement of where things will be on the map, as far as this is where a city will go, this is where a city will go, this is where the logging town will go, whatever. But the towns and the cities themselves will be randomly generated. So I'll have, because this is all like tile maps, so all these buildings will be randomly placed, except for specific things that are clusters. Like, for example, I don't know, like this is a hotel, the parking lot's probably going to be with it, and then the other building and the sign stuff. Like I'll probably cut this out, and this will be one big tile that has to go together. Or like this mini mart over here will be like one big thing that goes together. And those get randomly placed in the city that it generates. So the goal will be to find specific items for a specific reason that has to do with story stuff that I'm not really trying to expose. But the story is something you kind of discover, like look into the prefab tool. I think I already have the prefab tool. I actually use Dungeon Architect in tandem with the prefab tool, but Dungeon Architect lets me do like a lot more. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so like in Call of Duty Zombies, you discover the story as you go, but really your main objective is just to survive, and you're like constantly pounded with this like I gotta survive mentality. That's what I'm doing here. I don't make casual shoot for mindless shooting. I make substance, you know. Like I want goodness in my games. I don't want just a cash cow. I put my heart and soul into this stuff so I can play along with my player base, and it's going to be difficult. It's real difficult for me already. Like after a certain round, you get totally swarmed, and I don't really want to. If you've already played the game, if you own it, everyone, you already know what round number I'm talking about if you've gotten to it already. So yeah, I don't want to I don't want to give too much away, but it's gonna get worse because there's gonna be more creatures. It's not gonna be just zombies, um, necessarily. So like there will be other types of zombie creatures, but then there will be things that are just not zombies at all. And then there will also be AI that are like human. So you'll find allies that you could, you know, you want to have stick around with you because you're just going to be constantly getting swarmed. And then sometimes you find AI that just want to kill you and take your stuff, so you'll be fighting them too. Um, the idea for the end game, and I can give away this much, is that in cities you're constantly going to be getting just fucked. Like you just need to have a plan and supplies when you run in. Otherwise, when you leave the city and you go out into like an open area, like a forest and stuff, it's not gonna be. I mean, there'll be zombies and stuff there, but they're just gonna wander. They're not gonna have access to where your player is at all times until they see them, and then they'll alert other zombies. But the way I'm designing this and like the principle is each building section or like each cluster of things is its own little puzzle in a sense. Um, and it's kind of like the path you take to buy doors or the objects you try to get when you get in them. Um, it all matters how you want to approach it. Like in Call of Duty Zombies, you're given many door options. Some cost more, some cost less. Some lead to shitty weapons, and some lead to better weapons, and some lead to the power room, and things like that. It's a lot like this. Um, my goal is to have it stretch so far out across the map that if you want to get to certain points within the city that you might not know necessarily if it's unblocked or not. For example, the power could be completely shut off from the city, and you need to get to something, and the only way to get there is to get the elevator, but the power's off. Well, you gotta go way out to the other ass side of the map and, like, turn on the hydroelectric dam or activate the wind farm or something like that in order to restore power to the city so you can get the things you need that are tucked away. And this is not like a DayZ survival. This is very much a story-driven, or not story-driven, story-powered game. Very much like Call of Duty Zombies in the sense of its like ridiculousness, and it, it's gonna get crazy. And I'm gonna take it a step further. So the Call of Duty World War II Zombies, I liked how gritty it got, but I didn't really like the direction it went necessarily. My favorite Call of Duty Zombies is Shadows of Evil, and this game is heavily inspired by Shadows of Evil, but it goes to like a deeper level of crazy than that. It sticks more to like, or it tries to be as brutal as World War II Zombies, but not necessarily in like a gory sense. Even though there's gonna be like a lot of dismemberment and things, it's more like my goal here is to keep it low poly, and you know you're aware it's cartoony and stuff, but that's not gonna stop it from creeping you out and like really fucking you up sometimes. Like really scaring the shit out of you when you least expect it. That's the goal, anyway. Like, I want to see, like, if I can just capture the raw element of fear and panic, even though it's cartoony and, like, vibrant. I mean, like, look at that moon. Sometimes you can just stare off and be like, ah. And other times you're gonna be like, oh shit, I'm about to die. I've already accidentally punched several walls. So that, that map. And it's not included in this build, but I do have a randomly generating city map. It's actually on my YouTube channel if you want to look at it. There's some really, really early stuff of that. That's actually one of the first things I started doing for End of Days, and I think I did that back in like August of last year, which that same month is when I released End of Days for early access. Before that, I was only working on End of Days for like a month or two. I was working for a GPS mapping company that I'm not allowed to mention on stream, and I had recently bought a laptop and a VR headset, and I was just like, this is what I'm doing. And they didn't give me, they worked me about 96 hours a week to the point where I was just like, I'm done. And I left, and then I came home, and then the time I spent while I was home looking for a side job, or actually I didn't even look for a little bit. I just did game dev full time for a little bit, and that was great, and I really want to get back to doing that. But need to make money, so I'm not looking to make little money grab games. I'm looking to make something great that, you know, shows that I'm worth paying for or buying my stuff. I also just want to like bond with the community. A lot of people I don't really like to associate with anymore, so this is my thing. This is what I do. Anyway, what else do I got? What else do I got? I think it's about it. Everything other than the AI that I've done so far is pretty much the same as the recent release. So yeah, this is basically a preview at this point for what's happening in the next release, which is supposed to be way sooner than the last release happened. Oh man, that release took so long. I was waiting on a blueprint package to update, and while I'm happy it updated, I ended up having to basically redo everything from the ground up. I did all of this in Blueprint, but the idea is after I'm done like outlining everything, I will do it all again in C++. Because performance. I keep looking over here like this is where my camera is. It's right here. But yeah, I do know C++. I've got certificates and stuff. I just haven't had the need to dive into it in Unreal at the moment. There's a lot of stuff I can do in C++ that I can't do in Blueprint, but Blueprint is so great for prototyping. It's so good when you just have like a very rough idea of where you want to go, and then just looking at it all on screen. I mean, like these behavior trees. I did some of this on notebook paper, right? Started off with all my notes about how I want to break this down, and it took me actually like playing around with the nodes and dropping things down and seeing the paths move to really like wrap my head around where I want to go with it. Versus if I just brought up Visual Studio and there's a bug and I don't know where I'm really going from with my direction with things. I'm just sitting here like, okay, I can fix this bug and get it to work, but like, is it what I want to do? This made me decide that my decision wasn't a good decision for what I wanted to do, even if I did fix it, you know? Look into the BP to C++ tools. You mean like the, you mean the nativization stuff? Because even though I can nativize it, that's still not necessarily the fastest or best setup. close this monitor down real quick. Don't want that. Okay. Yeah, and I don't have my restream chat up right now. I just noticed. But yeah, I know where the nativization stuff is right here. It's like in the project settings. I'm actually gonna see, not right now, but after I finish this AI, before I do anything else, first thing I'm gonna do is nativize everything and see what the performance gains are. Yes, I recently got the multi-threading blueprint. It's I was suggested by people on the Unreal Slackers channel that before I do anything with the multi-threading, because specifically I was going to do it in my behavior trees, I should have everything working the way I want it to work before I even touch it. So I'm going to do that. Like, I know the wandering in itself, just constantly, let me pull this up, wandering, just like constantly finding the location, like getting a random point in here, or even like calling move to all the time, that could be optimized so much with threads. So, and the other thing is I reached out to the guy who made that software. I'm gonna call it software, that package rather, and he was not willing to help me with advice or like clarify things he said. He was not even able to tell me if it worked in behavior trees, but I know it does theoretically. So, and I don't know. By the point I get everything done, I could realistically just do it all in C++ at that point, because after I have the windows working and now I have my behavior trees working, my guns all work, but I'm waiting on the person who made the blueprint package. He's released, actually, I don't know if I can say it on stream. He's doing a thing that I am interested in, which involves C++. So I, at some point, really will be rewriting everything from the ground up. Also, I'm just going to throw this out there. This is my very first game project. I have not worked on any other game before this. I actually had like just like the only skills I had in Unreal Engine 4 were how to navigate the editor and stuff, and just kind of messed around a little bit. I never got into anything more than just like making the character move. So I learned everything on the fly, taught myself lighting and everything. I knew code already from like things I learned in high school and some bits of college. And I mean, everything else that I know about why things work is just from either me teaching myself or just like having a general grasp of everything already, because when I played video games, I was trash at them. I mean, I still play video games, but like when I played video games heavily as a kid, I was so trash at them, and I just wanted to know how they worked better in order to win. So, and then I got into things like Gary's Mod, and then I was just hooked. I was so hooked. But yeah, long story short, I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna open this. Yeah, this map needs some optimization. Yeah, BP Threads. BP Threads is the better one. The other one's not even updated. It's not even worth getting. So obviously, this is huge, right? This is a lot of data. This isn't level streamed. This is all one thing. This is like impressive at 90 FPS, I guess, because that's a lot. So like I have to stream things, and this doesn't even have LODs. This is just raw. The other map facility in the woods that has LODs, H-LODs actually. The lighting is optimized, everything. I get, before AI gets on the map, I have easily 120 FPS, no worries. AI gets onto the map, I haven't tested performance yet because, you know what, I'm kind of curious. Let's go see what happens. Kind of curious. Then again, I am on stream, but whatever. Just curious. So, okay. Still getting about 90, 100 right now. I'm gonna chalk that up to being on stream, and my VR is running, but I'm not doing anything with it. So, let's see what happens if I just... Okay. Ooh. Jumped up a bit. Quite a few milliseconds. Some optimization needs to happen for sure. Or no? What? Why? Confused as to why my stat unit's not working. Whatever. Not important. Not important. Still, target is 11 milliseconds in VR. VR is not, I mean, VR is running, but the game's not deployed to VR. What was alright? What was easily... Yes, my kitty cat. What was easily 90 with a good chunk of AI is now this. Although, remember what I said before? They're all doing a random navigation. Let's grab a window. Set that to has player. Let's see if that changes performance at all. It did. It did. We just went up about 15 FPS average. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna have to multi-thread everything as soon as I get all the functionality of the behavior tree the way I want it. The fuck? He just looks like he's sliding. I don't know why the movement speed's not synced up to the animation. That's weird. It's whatever. I have to do new characters because these serve their purpose for the time being. Oh my gosh, you're so right. My desktop is overlaid. That's wicked funny. And that's gonna be recorded because all my stuff gets saved to YouTube. That's super funny. Anyway. Alright, so we're on stream. I'm gonna take about, I don't know, this is Streamlabs OBS. Is supposed to be like not bad. So it's taking about 8% of my CPU right now. And then networking and stuff, it's not awful. It's not awful. My CPU's only going at about bouncing between like 50 and 57%. Oh, the spike to 70. Jeez. Huh. My processor is getting a bit old now, so I don't know. I'd say it's like mid-range now. There's a lot of shit going on. I have a lot of screens. If you guys have never seen my rig, then TV out there, and then I got my laptop over here, and then my Vive and stuff over here. This is my desktop, custom built it all. It's I went kind of sleeper-ish kind of build with a really old server case that I tore apart and painted and stuff. Oh no, you're gonna envy the rig that I have after this, cause I'm probably gonna dump about $6 grand into it. I got like more monitors in the back. When I didn't have VR, I had like 6. I had these 3 in a triple, and then I had some in portrait over here with like console feedback updates, and then like I had another one over here for like social media and stuff. I just had like the craziest rig. I was working for iRobot for a while, and they just kept tossing out monitors in boxes like they were totally fine. Of course, my cat's he's in a mood. I don't know what's up with him. I keep feeding him, and he's just like, feed me more. So I don't know. Performance, not bueno. Not bueno. I don't know. I mean, it keeps going to about 17 milliseconds. Target's 11 milliseconds. It's really not awful considering the amount of stuff that's going on at the same time. And then if I thread it, there's not gonna be no issues at all. The only concern is properly threading it, because if I lose that thread, that's an issue. Excuse my vaping. Well, this is not a good time to debug the performance because I have so many other things running. What happens if I go to unlit? Okay, so it's strictly processor intensive right now. It's not GPU. Because if I go to shader complexity, it's not, yeah. This freaking skybox though, I wish I could set it to a mask. I have to set it translucent or transparent because of the way the actual sky works. It's whatever, it's not that bad. At least it's just red and not white. Like this. It's not bad. I don't know. Overall, I think that's phenomenal. That literally every interactable part of the map is well in threshold. I mean, the fucking gizmo is... What am I using for a skybox? Ultimate Dynamic Skybox, and I customized the crap out of it. If I go to lit. I've never actually done this. I haven't done this in a while anyway. Like, let's see what happens if... See what happens if I do that. Because I don't have a sunset. Sunset. You actually going? Oh, there's a lot of clouds. This kind of looks like Fortnite. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I think the sun is coming up. But I'm on the fence. End game could have a day-night cycle. I was playing around with the idea of at nighttime zombies start to glow, like their eyes. Yeah, I took a lot of inspiration from Fortnite when I was making this. I was actually in the alpha for Fortnite for like so long. If you zoom far away enough, it's got the purple miasma. Oh yeah, yep, sun's coming up. So I don't know. We could be looking at a day-night cycle. That'd be cool, I guess. Plays into it pretty well, surviving and all that. Oh man. Oh wow. You know, I've never actually seen the daytime version of this. Oh, that looks cool. That looks really cool. And then I could put it on a timeline to change the post-process. Oh, that'd be so cool. And then it'd be like wicked hard to find the box during the day because the beacon would not stand out as much. Oh yeah. This would be some good gameplay mechanics right there. So my goal is to make your job as difficult as possible. Wow, this is starting to look more and more like Fortnite as the sun comes up. I'm a little concerned. But at the same time, I'm not, because like, this looks good. This looks good. Because this shouldn't be purple anymore. This should turn to like orange or whatever. This should match the sun coming up over the horizon. Green or whatever. Because these are full colored trees. They're not even just like right here. You can see full colored trees. They're not just background props. These are all done with the foliage tool. I like that though, like the way it actually comes down on the building. I played a lot with these lighting materials to get everything just right. I turned specular off of everything, and like I had to get it to work just right. This is all baked though. Ideally, it would be great if I could get something dynamic going on, but that's such a hog on performance for VR. But you know, I can live. It's whatever. These zombies, they don't look half bad in what I got here. Every other game I've seen that has these zombies or these Cinti props, they're all garbage. Garbage. I want to slap them. Be like, you don't even have a unified art style. Your skybox is realistic, and it doesn't pair with this. Your lighting is stock. Like nothing makes sense. It's not even difficult. It's not even difficult. It just takes some time to get like the taste you want in place. Just all some sliders and numbers is really nothing. Oh, what is that? My fog. Oh, what's going on with my fog? Wonder if that's the day-night cycle messing with that. I'll look into that. That's still really interesting. It's like wicked Fortnite-y. Huh. I got some things to consider. Things to consider. Anyways, get that out of here. Back to nighttime with my Northern Lights. What is this? Oh yeah, that's why I can't have day-night cycle, because it would have to be movable. That would break my fog, which took so long. This is fully volumetric fog, and I got this to work. Oh, look at that. It was just at like 120 FPS or something. No? Huh. Weird. Yeah, so... No, look at that. It's like 9... Oh yeah, because they're not running the game. Sorry, it's like 4 in the morning. I've been... Ugh. Was saying things... Stuff and things. What was I saying? I totally forget. lighting? Northern Lights. Such a pretty skybox. Such a pretty skybox. I get lost doing art sometimes, and then I end up with like this crazy stuff. But yeah. Anyway, so Mr. Squarepeg, to answer your question or your stuff, yeah, how you feeling about the AI team up you want? Is that am I looking like a good candidate for you? Because I could certainly use more game work, less side jobs. And if you like this, I got other projects too. My other projects. Let's see here. Let's load up Duality. Hope this doesn't take too long to load. Oh, it's my other game. I have 3 main game projects right now, and then I have some other sub projects that I'm working on. And then I also recently got recruited by a game project. I think it was Thunder Throne Wars, I think. I can't remember. I still have to sign paperwork and stuff. Duality. So this game is a spiritual successor to Avatar: The Last Airbender in many ways. It also takes a lot of inspiration from Kung Fu Panda and Legend of Zelda and what's the one I'm thinking of? Samurai Jack. Yes, also lots of anime because I am such a weeb. I am such a weeb. This started as an art project while I was waiting for the blueprint system that I built End of Days off of to update. So I did this. I geared myself towards art instead of code, and this is where I did all my light study. And after I did my light study, I actually went back to End of Days and I changed the whole look. So this is why I like to bounce around multiple projects, because I just learn on the fly and I just teach myself everything by doing, and it's always useful. Always. I don't know if my Xbox controller's laying around anywhere. Yes, it is. Hopefully I'm going to get this game to most consoles. I'm targeting Switch, but I don't know. That's something that's a difficult thing to get to. Sync. Damn it, sync. Well, it's not syncing. Yeah, I had like some flying mechanics and stuff with a glider, like Avatar. It's in some of my other streams. Take note, I tried to tie the art style together in a way where the closer you got, the less detail there was, and the farther away you were, the more realistic it looked. So that was the goal for all this. Like, farther away it is, the more it looks like what you think it is. The closer it is, the less it looks like what I think it is. And yet, it still works. It still works. These trees, not a fan anymore. Kind of suck. I want to change these. But yeah, got like. This is also built off of a Cinti Studios pack. I actually buy all of their stuff because it's, for me, best thing than Prototype. I grew up on Legend of Zelda, the Nintendo 64 Ocarina of Time, and I've been inspired by games like that ever since. Wind Waker, big influence in my life. Twilight Princess, big influence in my life. I haven't played Breath of the Wild yet. I'm actually not wicked keen on it because I hear it's a good game, and by all the mechanics and everything, It's a good game in my mind, but it's not really a Zelda game, so I'm not really like hyped about it or anything. Which is a shame because Zelda is just my favorite thing. I plan on getting a bunch of Zelda tattoos. Just a bunch. So this game is really interesting. It's gonna have so again, it's really heavily based off of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not directly, like I don't use the lore, but you know, like how their journey went, what they were doing. This you have elemental powers like Avatar, and you go on a world journey of sorts. This is one. I don't even know if I'm going to keep this as an actual island or not, but this would be an example of one small island, like really small island, on a much grander ocean full of other things that you can sail to, like in Wind Waker. And so there's gonna be a lot of level streaming and stuff. Talking like some really huge continents. Well, not really, I guess. We're talking like 4 reasonably large continents with several sprinkled islands in between, and this would be, I would consider this like a small island. So lots of dungeons and things. So there's that. It's Duality. I will actually simulate because this one does have a day-night cycle. You see it going over there. I need to touch up this as well. I need to get more free time so I can work on all my projects more. Sun's still going. I'll just wait a little bit, just wait a little bit. Now this one's actually fully dynamic. All the lighting in here, fully dynamic. This is not a VR game. This is, you know, console or computer game. So I use dynamic global illumination for everything. I also turn the specular off. I touch up the post process just a bit to like make colors pop, but not really like do an atmosphere. There's no fog. This is the same skybox, Ultimate Dynamic Skybox. Great blueprint. These clouds, they are actual clouds. They're not just up in the sky. I'm not just part of the skybox. So these will move about, you know, do things. The grass, it's not implemented at the moment, but it's actually based on a blueprint. So the grass is fully interactive. Anything that touches it will cause it to bend. If anything is placed on top of it, it will form around it and like press, and if you remove it, there will be a shape of it. All this grass lights on fire and spreads with wind. So there's a lot of elemental environment stuff going on in Duality. Duality is really centered around the concept of the taijutsu, I think is how you say it. It's the Chinese word ideology, more commonly known as the yin and yang symbol. It's, you know, duality, it's where it comes from, like light and dark. The split of things, but then it's also based around this principle of how it all becomes like this oneness. You can see over here my yin yang symbol moon. It's totally not how I want it to be. I gotta make that also faceted and low poly, just like End of Days. A lot of my projects are gonna be low poly for a while, till I get more manpower and I can work on other things. But for me, for now, it's just all me doing this. Fun stuff. Alright, enough of that. I don't really feel wicked comfortable showing this off because there's possible copywriting issues at the moment. But I'm going to open up Downtown Heroes. This is a game I have not shown on stream yet. It's a game I've been working on. I started probably before End of Days, but I didn't get to finish or really do what I wanted to with it because End of Days was something I just had a lot more assets for, so I could really flesh it out. This game is superheroes versus supervillains in a fully destructible city. That's going to be quite interesting. It's supposed to play like Overwatch mixed together with Rampage. Ignore that. You didn't see that. You know, this could be like a tank type character. He would, I don't know if this guy would be a hero or a villain yet. Just prototype phase, like super prototype phase. Smash buildings and stuff, like literally all the buildings will be destructible. Everything on the map, you'll be able to pick up and interact. Like you could rip this up and use it as a melee weapon or something. And like a lot of things could happen in this map. Now let's take this building for example. If this is split up into chunks, the top part, back up a step, all the chunks have health. The top part has the least amount of health and would be the easiest to destroy. The bottom part has the most amount of health and is the most amount of its own health plus the health of everything on top of it. So if this is a chunk up here and then there's a chunk down here, they each have their own health, and then this is the chunk's health plus the chunk above it. And yeah, so villains try to destroy the city, heroes try to stop them, and it plays a lot like how Overwatch, you have team comp, and League of Legends is team comp, but no real item building. But depending on who you are as a character, there could be things around the map that affect your gameplay. Like some characters, they move a lot better when there's less space. So I have a character who plays a lot like a Spider-Man. He does a lot better when there's more buildings because he can swing, versus out in the open he's a lot less useful. Conversely, I have a character that's a lot like the Green Goblin. He does a lot better with less buildings, movement wise anyway. And then this plays in VR and in non-VR. The way it works in VR, in non-VR it plays like your traditional third person behind the shoulder type situation, you know. In VR though, the camera is detached from the player character, the superhero, and they're almost like a remote controlled action figure. So you will start off the size of a regular person, and then you just remote control them, and they can go anywhere and you can lose sight of them just because you're not paying attention to them. But you have the ability to scale yourself up to the size of a skyscraper, and you can walk around and look down at the battle, and you still remote control them like action figures. It's really interesting. As soon as I get multiplayer in End of Days, I will be getting this game out as well. I'm still debating on the selling model. I might go free to play and sell the characters as individuals like League of Legends does, or I might sell it for a really small base pay and then do DLC for each of the characters. You know, still thinking about it. And don't really want to open this right now, but I have a Spider-Man web swinging sim in VR where I take satellite map data of New York City and I generated a whole Manhattan, more than Manhattan, like literally all of New York City, and you can swing around using real physics. It plays very similar to Spider-Man 2 when they had the actual good web swinging, and I had to do a lot of interesting math for that. So that project I started because I wanted to get into the math systems and physics and all that. End of Days I started because I just wanted to get into like general code structures and like multiplayer. You know, I needed something that would sell relatively easy because it's a genre people are comfortable with. Duality I did because I wanted to work on my art skills, and Downtown Heroes is just something I've always wanted since I was a kid. I wanted remote controlled action figures. Spider-Man 2 was such a good game. The guy who wrote those swing mechanics, his name's Jamie. He and I have been tweeting a little bit, and he helped me work on the Spider-Man 2 swing physics because he wrote an article in like 2013 that I used to help build this. So yeah, plays like that. And then I got a bunch of other little projects that are they're so basic prototypey that they're not even worth touching base on yet. I do a lot of stuff in my notebooks and all that, and I actually I hit up VR Cover, the website company. I just bought some sports face masks for my Vive, so I'm going to be doing a lot of exercise in VR, and I would really, really like to build an intense sword combat game. Like a realistic sword combat game. Like, I'm not even gonna... Like, I want to be so challenged by my own game. So, yeah. I got a lot of other stuff, but for now, I'm just gonna start wrapping up the stream. It's about 4:13 a.m. Background layer. End of Days on sale on Steam and itch.io. It's cheaper on itch at the moment. The plan for End of Days and itch, they when the game turns to full release on itch, it will cost the same as End of Days, but multiplayer kind of is a little reliant on Steam, so you can get Steam keys for it there by purchasing it. I don't know. Steam likes to take more money than I'm comfortable with, so I'm trying to branch away from that and just go the good indie route. I might even be opening up my own market. I don't know. I got a lot to consider. But you should message me. And speaking to Mr. Squarepeg, yeah, you should message me. And anyone else who sees this later, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out the stuff. Hope you really like what's going on with End of Days. We have a lot of interesting AI development going on, and then I got to do meshes and more art and just lots of stuff. So don't be afraid to buy the game. It helps me get more cool stuff to you. This is Starkium, signing off. Any second here, I'll figure out which screen this is. Not that one.